get fining players slash coaches for commenting on officiating is a common practice in sports. But at what point does the WNBA fine itself? The best officials have historically left the WNBA for other opportunities. What is the league doing to improve officiating standards? Rhetorical question, because when it comes up in press conferences, we get the runaround. And she's not wrong. She's not wrong. And that's why the standard of refereeing so bad in the WNBA is that bad referees from other leagues end up in the WNBA. Referees that aren't good enough yet to ref in bigger leagues end up in the WNBA.
A prominent basketball reporter has raised serious concerns about the quality of officiating in the Women's Professional Basketball League. This journalist, widely regarded as one of the most credible voices covering the sport, has questioned why the league continues to avoid addressing persistent problems with game officials. The reporter's criticism centers on a troubling pattern within the officiating system. When skilled referees develop their abilities in the women's league, they typically move on to higher-paying opportunities in men's basketball or college athletics. This creates a cycle where less experienced or lower-quality officials end up working women's games, while the best talent seeks better compensation elsewhere. The compensation issue extends beyond just professional leagues.
Referees that aren't good enough yet to ref in bigger leagues end up in the WNBA. So if a referee's good in the WNBA, they go up to the NBA. They go up to a higher league. They go up to NCAA college. Heck, I'm pretty sure there's some levels of high school basketball where they pay the referees more than they pay the WNBA refs. WNBA evaluating poor efficiency or officiating. Nothing Cathy Engelbert has had a free ride. You want to talk about? Nope, I'm not reading that. But first step they should do is outlaw flopping. Flopping isn't allowed. The referees just don't do it.
Some high school basketball programs reportedly offer referees better pay than what officials receive in the women's professional circuit. This financial reality makes it difficult for the league to attract and retain top-tier officiating talent. League leadership has largely dismissed concerns about referee quality. The commissioner has suggested that complaints about officiating mainly come from teams after losses, framing the criticism as sour grapes rather than legitimate concerns about game integrity. This response has drawn pushback from many within the basketball community. However, evidence suggests otherwise.
Step they should do is outlaw flopping. Flopping isn't allowed. The referees just don't do anything. The commissioner doesn't care despite many people complaining. And that's the biggest thing about this is like the commissioner, Cathy Engelbert, has come out and literally said, and this is I kid you not, like the loudest critics of referees in the WNBA are Becky Hammon. The Aces are on a 7-game winning streak. Based on a 7-game winning streak, and they could well end up as the 2nd seed. Cheryl Reeve, her team is going to be one of the great.
Many of the most vocal critics of officiating are actually successful coaches and players. Championship-winning coaches have repeatedly expressed frustration with referee performance. Multiple-time champions and MVP winners have publicly criticized officiating standards. Even players currently on winning streaks have voiced concerns about game management. The situation becomes more complex when considering that winning teams and star players are equally frustrated with officiating quality. Current and former champions across different franchises have all raised similar complaints about referee performance.
Cheryl Reeve, her team is going to be one of the greatest teams of all time in the regular season this year. Stephanie White, even with every injury, like the Fever would be a top 3 seed if it wasn't for injuries. There's no question about that. The Fever are 2.5 games off the 3rd seed. They're 2.5 games off the 3rd seed with an injury crisis. Sandy Brondolo, her team won a championship based off referees. And the commissioner has boiled it down to, the only...
This suggests the problem extends beyond teams simply being upset about losses. One particularly concerning aspect involves the replay system. Officials are essentially reviewing their own work, which creates inherent bias in the process. Several instances have occurred where replay reviews have produced questionable results, including basic out-of-bounds calls being decided incorrectly despite video evidence. A specific example involved a crucial late-season game between playoff contenders. During the play, one player clearly deflected the ball off an opponent's leg, causing it to go out of bounds.
The commissioner has boiled it down to, the only time people complain about referees when they lose. It's not actually the referee's problem. Our referees are good. It's just teams losing want someone to blame. Like, it's as often that a winning team calls out the referees as a losing team. Like, all the conversation is about, from Fever fans, is about the referees. The Fever won. The Fever won. Like, it's the fact that the commissioners come basically has ignored all of it because it's like, oh yeah, this whole thing.
Despite video replay showing this sequence, officials somehow reached the opposite conclusion. This type of error in a game with playoff implications demonstrates how officiating problems can affect season outcomes. The most egregious example occurred during the championship series. In the final moments of a deciding game, a defensive player made what appeared to be a clean block on a shot attempt. The offensive player had traveled extensively before the shot, taking multiple steps without dribbling. Despite this, officials called a foul on the defensive player.
Because it's like, oh yeah, this whole thing is just about teams that are losing. Two-time champion Kelsey Plum complaining about the standard of refereeing. Current champion Sabrina Ionescu from last year complaining about the referees. Aja Wilson, two-time champion, MVP of last year, complains about the referees non-stop. Brittany Griner, one-time champion? One time? I'm not sure. Complaining about referees constantly. Diana Taurasi is Diana Taurasi. Caitlin Clark.
Even more troubling was what happened during the replay review. The defending team's players were seen celebrating while watching the replay, confident that the review would show the block was legal. However, officials upheld the foul call, claiming body contact occurred when video evidence suggested the opposite. The offensive player had actually initiated contact by moving into the defender. Adding to the controversy was footage showing the offensive team's coach explicitly instructing a player to exaggerate contact to draw foul calls. This strategy worked exactly as planned, with officials making the crucial foul call that decided the championship.
Caitlin Clark complaining about they won't even let her complain about referees anymore because she's going to get fined and Stephanie White's just going to take the fine. It is more so the good players in this league that are complaining about referees. And the commissioner has just decided to ignore every single complaint about the referees because apparently it's only losing teams that complain. It's one of the worst elements of the W. Officiating is inconsistent. Worse, they check their own homework that needs to change.
The league's unwillingness to address these officiating issues has become increasingly problematic. Despite mounting evidence and criticism from respected voices throughout the sport, leadership continues to deflect responsibility and blame complainants rather than examining the underlying problems. Various rule violations go unaddressed as well. Flopping, while technically prohibited, receives no enforcement from officials. The commissioner appears uninterested in addressing this issue despite widespread complaints from fans and participants.
Homework that needs to change. There's inherent bias in every replay. Yeah, exactly. The replay system makes no sense. It absolutely makes no sense. I have literally seen them get out of bounds calls wrong on replays. I have actually seen them get out of bounds calls wrong. I have seen them watch a replay and see a player, or was it the Storm against the Mystics, or no, Sparks, where Kelsey Plum's dribbling the ball and Erica Wheeler hits it. And you can see the ball at one angle going forward.
The current system creates a situation where the league's own replay officials review controversial calls made by their colleagues on the court. This arrangement makes objective evaluation nearly impossible and undermines confidence in the review process. The financial structure of officiating compensation contributes significantly to these problems. When referees can earn more money working high school games than professional women's basketball, the league loses its ability to attract quality officials. This creates a vicious cycle where poor officiating drives away good referees while failing to provide incentives for improvement.
I'm getting angry emails from people that are threatening emails. It's very slick and subtle, but they're someone needs to smash you in the face with a hammer, Jason, for what you said about Angel Reese. People are sending me subtle threats for talking about Angel Reese disappearing on the Chicago sky. Everybody knows that Ryan Clark and Shaq and these other LSU guys are sitting around laying in the cut. Don't you say nothing about Angel Reese. And so everybody's scared. We've never
The impact extends beyond individual games to the sport's overall credibility. When championships can be decided by questionable officiating decisions, and when the league's leadership dismisses legitimate concerns as mere complaints from sore losers, the integrity of competition suffers. Many respected journalists and analysts have begun calling attention to these systemic issues. Their coverage highlights how officiating problems affect not just individual games, but the sport's long-term development and reputation. The current approach of ignoring criticism and deflecting blame has proven ineffective.
Don't you say nothing about Angel Reese. And so everybody's scared. We've never seen a player just disappear. Kawhi Leonard, they have excuses, they have explanations, they have reasons. This woman has disappeared. They're getting their brains beat out. It's clear as day. I don't think she's looking to get traded. I just think she's protecting her brand and doesn't want these L's on her resume because, she's some sort of winner and she brought LSU.
Until league leadership acknowledges the scope of officiating problems and takes concrete steps to address compensation, training, and accountability, these issues will likely continue undermining the quality and credibility of professional women's basketball. This discussion centers around one of the most intriguing situations currently unfolding in women's professional basketball. Angel Reese has effectively vanished from public view, yet very few analysts seem interested in investigating or demanding explanations for her absence. The situation appears puzzling given that Reese was previously promoted as a cornerstone player for the league. Media outlets frequently highlighted her consecutive double-digit performances, labeling her as a groundbreaking athlete while debating her rookie award candidacy.
Because, she's some sort of winner and she brought LSU a championship and all this. Now, when the going gets tough, and this is where Maurice, I'm sorry, I'm going to let Frank go first, but I did love your point you made that I didn't elaborate on, but first year in the WNBA, she didn't finish the season. Oh, I got a wrist injury. Unrivaled, didn't finish the season. And now another disappearance here in the WNBA. I just don't understand how this isn't being talked about.
Despite this supposed significance, her sudden disappearance following claims of a back problem has generated minimal scrutiny or reporting. Officials continue stating she remains questionable on a daily basis, yet no detailed information emerges regarding the specific nature of her injury, its origin, or recovery timeline. This lack of transparency contrasts sharply with how other high-profile player absences typically receive extensive coverage and regular updates. The discussion suggests that certain influential figures connected to Reese's former university may be discouraging critical examination of her situation. This alleged protective approach has created an atmosphere where questioning her absence results in hostile reactions, including threatening messages directed toward those raising concerns about her disappearance.
I just don't understand how this isn't being talked about. It looks like one of the so-called biggest stars in the WNBA has quit or pulled a Kawhi Leonard. Frank, you fire first. Maurice, you carry us home.
I mean, I've been calling out this stuff about Angel Reese. That's why I get on her so tough. For the longest, man, that she not for real about playing the game of basketball. She don't love the sport of basketball. She loves what the sport of basketball can do for her. And we're not surprised, I know, right? Like.
Unlike other notable cases where star players have taken extended breaks, those situations typically involve clear medical explanations, official statements, and regular progress reports. Reese's case lacks these standard elements, creating an unprecedented situation where a supposedly marquee player simply vanishes without adequate explanation. The timing raises additional questions as her team continues struggling significantly during her absence. Rather than appearing motivated to return and help her struggling teammates, the prolonged absence suggests other priorities may be influencing her decisions. Some observers believe she may be protecting her personal reputation by avoiding association with her team's poor performance.
What the sport of basketball can do for her. And we're not surprised, I know, right? Like Maurice said, she skipped out of Unrivaled. She skipped out of last year. She didn't even come to the playoff games and the championship game just the same way. So I'm not surprised. She skipped out on her team. It went to the Met Gala this year when she had practice and a game the next day. So she's been telling us out loud, very loudly, I'm more about my celebrity status than this game of basketball in the WNBA.
This pattern extends beyond her current absence. During her debut professional season, she failed to complete the campaign, citing wrist problems. Similarly, she departed early from the unrivaled league without finishing that season either. Now this marks another incomplete season, establishing a concerning pattern of failing to see commitments through to their conclusion. Critics argue that this behavior reveals someone more interested in basketball's celebrity aspects than the actual sport itself.
I'm more about my celebrity status in this game of basketball in the WNBA. And it's that black girl magic is why nobody seems, to talk about it, So the black girl magic, the Yas Queens and all of them, they're not going to say nothing about it. And all of the ones that Captain saved for, they're not going to say nothing about it. And only thing they're going to say is, well, Angel, get into the bag. She's a poor example for what a woman.
They point to instances like attending high-profile social events while missing team obligations, suggesting priorities that extend beyond competitive basketball. Her absence from traveling with the team raises particular concerns about leadership and team commitment. While other injured stars continue accompanying their teams to provide support and maintain visibility with fans, Reese has stopped appearing at games entirely. This decision contrasts sharply with players like Caitlin Clark, who continues attending every game despite being unable to play. The lack of transparency extends to questions about when the injury actually occurred.
What a woman's basketball, especially a professional, should be like, act like. And so for the little kid, that's why I really get on her. You see all of the bloopies. If you ever seen a short saying bloopy, that's me talking about all of the time she stinks up the court. You got another guy out there with bangs. He always said, butter pecan, bang. I'm pretty sure you ain't ever heard that. Oh, I got to send it to you, Jason. But it's too much. It's too much evidence of her being terrible at basketball.
Evidence suggests she was experiencing problems before All-Star voting concluded, during a period when her performance was particularly poor. However, she managed to participate in the showcase game itself while missing the regular season contest immediately preceding it, creating confusion about the injury's severity and timing. Some analysts question whether league officials are being truthful about injury statuses generally, suggesting they may be deliberately misleading fans about player availability to maintain ticket sales. This practice of listing players as questionable until hours before games, only to announce their unavailability at the last moment, appears to be a broader pattern affecting multiple players. The contrast with other player situations highlights the inconsistency.
Maurice?
I think it's embarrassing. It's a travesty what's going on. Angel Reese, it's one thing to be hurt. She's not even showing up to the games anymore. Tyler Marsh was confused that she didn't even go with the team to Indiana. She didn't go with the team to Connecticut. I think it's a travesty as a leader of a franchise and the face of a franchise. You're not even traveling with the team anymore to be on the bench to support your teammates. I think that
while some injuries receive extensive documentation and regular updates, others remain shrouded in mystery. This disparity raises questions about whether certain players receive different treatment regarding disclosure requirements. Regarding her actual impact on attendance, analysis suggests that Reese's presence or absence doesn't significantly affect ticket sales. Unlike players whose appearances drive substantial fan interest, her influence on drawing crowds appears limited. She functions more as a media narrative than a genuine attendance driver.